Alright, hello everyone and welcome to Et8 for the Challengers Cup. I had another issue again with the PC, hence why I've been rushing around trying to sort everything out. But welcome. It's the first race of the season. Obviously, this is a bit of a Challengers preparation event for all the Challengers drivers. Unfortunately, a few of them aren't going to be here due to some other reasons. One of them being that I think I'm actually on allowed to race or something like that. But I've just got a few issues with my game. I'm trying to sort it out as we speak. Of course, when I need the game to work, it doesn't want to. But we should get underway pretty shortly. Sorry to the hosted lobby if there's any delays because of me, but it should all be sorted. I deleted a few files on the PC because I had a few videos I had to edit, and it seems that they didn't want to delete themselves. So I'm just trying to sort that out. Which is an ideal. But in the meantime, let's have a look at the calendar. We can see we've got 6 rounds. We start off today here in Bahrain, followed by Australia for round 2. Then we go next week to Imola, Silverstone, Spa, then Brazil. So a great calendar. I think, out of anything, Imola's kind of the one that's been chucked in there, surprisingly. I think all the others have a lot more great race. Imola's more of a qualifying track, and you kind of stick where you are once you qualify. It's very difficult to make an overtake round there. But all the other 4 tracks, I think it's great for overtaking opportunities. But I'm still waiting for this to be sorted out, this issue here. So I might end up having to join in a little bit late to qualifying if I can't sort it all out quickly, which isn't ideal, but there's nothing I can do about it. And then we'll have a look at the lineup quickly as well. So obviously a few of these won't be racing tonight. A few of them won't be racing in the tournament at all. There's a bit of a last minute change. RHG, their drivers aren't allowed to race. I believe that is Alfie Butcher. There's a couple more in this that was in this lineup. I think Sander Van Dyken was another one as well, who won't be able to race, unfortunately, at all. I'm just trying to sort this issue out, everyone. Bear with me. But yeah, I think it should be a great tournament. Let us know in the chat. Who do you think has got a chance of winning the challenges? Obviously, this isn't the real thing, the real deal, but I believe challenges starts this week. Well, next week on Thursday at 7 p.m. UK time. So exactly 4 days from now, challenges does begin. And obviously, the top 6 do get access to a pro license, I believe. Do I recognise the guy on the emoji? No, I don't. It's way too zoomed in. Yeah, I'm still trying to just sort this out because it's saying here that the folders have been all taken up, but I know for a fact they haven't because everything's been deleted out the recycle bin. So, the joys of having a really annoying computer. Let's try and sort this out quickly. The thing is, I've been on the game today already and it was working perfectly fine. But as soon as I need to use it, nope, doesn't like it at all. Right, we'll delete this folder, chuck that into the recycle bin, and hopefully this should be the final thing we need to do. And it says OneDrive. Always causing issues. Hello, Jeremy. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I don't know who the PS drivers are. I don't get involved in the PS scene at all. I'm just trying to sort everything out. Sorry about this, everyone. This is really annoying. It's not what I imagined it should have started out to be. But I think we might have finally solved the issue with the game because we're loading. The game's loading, which is a great start. And hopefully it stays loaded as we can get ready to be into the lobby. Once we're in the lobby, then I can talk a bit more about the actual grid because we've had lots of changes coming up to it. We've got a few of the challengers wild cards, they're called, just a few reserves. Very clean racers. Some of them not as quick as the top guys, but they're all clean and they all know how to race cleanly. And there we are. The issue has been solved, and we're into the game. There we are. And we'll have a quick look at the track in a second. Let me just get the game on, then we'll have a little look at the track where we are today, Bahrain. Great circuit. So there we are in the lobby. Just got to get yourself as a spectator, so no issues are caused. And there we are. Let's have a look at the track. So here we are, Bahrain, Sakir Circuit, Sakir International Circuit, if you want to call it. We've got the 3 sectors as usual, and we've got 2 DRS zones, one down towards turn 4, and the detection zones at the braking zone of turn 1. And then you also have the second DRS zone, which is down the back straight, then the front straight, down in towards turn 1. So 2 great DRS, no, 3 DRS zones. Ignore me, 3. Yes, 3. The final one being down into turn 1. And obviously we've got 15 corners. I think it's 9 to the right, 6 to the left, something like that. Great circuit. There's lots of different types of corner around here. Obviously, you've got the long straights down to turn 1, down to turn 4, down towards turn 14. And then you've got the hairpin at turn 1. You've also got the hairpin down at turn 7, down at turn 8. You've got the long S's, which is 5 through to 7. Then you've obviously got the really weird, I'd say one of the most unique corners ever in Formula 1 in my eyes, which is the braking zone down in towards turn 10. Obviously, you come through and on, you got to go down a downhill left-hander. Very easy there to lock up, and it's a weird because it's a corner, but you've got to brake straight going into the corner, so you've got to be very careful there. And obviously, the more risk you take, some drivers might take a little bit of turning on the brakes, but you've got to be very, very careful. Then obviously, you got the final corner, turn 14 and 15. Yet again, pretty standard type of corner in Formula 1, but you just got to make sure that you take it correctly, otherwise you'll bounce over the curbs on the exit and get an auto spin, or if you hop it too much on the entry, then that gives even more issues. But we're just going to try and sort the settings out quickly, because I've got to put it onto the correct mode because it's all changed. I think I've accidentally deleted some sort of setting on here, which isn't ideal, and not one that is known for sorting out software. I believe that is sorted. Yes, it is. But welcome in, everyone. Obviously, sorry for the rush start. Just going to get everything sorted out. Welcome. Thanks for the follows, everyone. Bogdan, Bloom Dude, Answer, Tamascal. Thanks, everyone. Means a lot. Capil. I don't have Chan, so I can't invite him, unfortunately. But yeah, Capil, welcome to the stream as well, mate. Everyone coming here to drop a follow. Really appreciate it, obviously, to help support the channel as well. That supports the esports team as well. And we're just waiting, I believe, Chan to get in because I've been asked if I could invite him. Thanks, Bloom. Thanks for the support. And we should be able to get started very shortly. It's going to get the chat up on my screen. A few of the drivers have gone live now on Twitch, so always feel free to go and say hello to them and see what they're up to. But talking through the grid, obviously we've got Will Lewis. He'll be on his own, I believe, in the Alfa Romeo team, as no one else has claimed a seat there. I'm just going to get it up in the Discord and I can see it all laid out, I think. In a second. Some very odd images in the chat there from Will Lewis. But there we are, looking through. So Mercedes, we've got Ishmael Fassi and Noel Carman. And then we've got Ferrari with Jan Halliday and Dylan Warren. A great team there between those two. I'm excited for that team. Then we've got Ruben Pedreño joined alongside by Tomat Savs. McLaren, we've got Valentin Bruford and Lars Butterman. Alpine, Andres Lopez and Bent Sabaconyi. Haas, we've got Chanakinchi and Fionn McKee. Aston Martin, Istvan Pukki and Vincent Nyqvist. AlphaTauri, we've got Alessio Di Capua and Zelenkiewicz, Team Zelenkiewicz. Alfa Romeo, we've got Will Lewis on his own. And then finally, we've got Williams, who've got Liam Stevens and Yannick Schmidt. I'm going to have a quick look into the DMs because I've written down, or someone sent me, the teams that the drivers are in, because I know a lot of the drivers, but unfortunately, I can't figure out where they're all from in terms of teams because there's that many out there. And we're getting started very shortly, which is good news. But I think we're just waiting on one person still, not sure. But as we look through the grid, obviously we got Ruben Pedreño is part of Alpine, joining this year. Istvan Pukki was Parnell, has left today alongside someone else. I think I can't remember who that was exactly. Obviously we haven't got Nelson Alves here, but he's in Shazoo. We've got Ishmael Fassi recently joining Williams. Dylan Warren, part of TF10. Jan Halliday, part of Shazoo. Valentin Bruford also joining along with Ishmael Fassi and Yannick Schmidt into the Williams team. Obviously, Ben Sabaconyi not in an actual team, but he's not in an actual esports Pro Series team, but he's part of Parnell. Obviously, Veloce have got Chanakinchi, and obviously the RHG drivers, which were Valentin Tyvard, Alfie Butcher, and Xander Van Dyken, but they've been told they can't race. I believe by RHG themselves. And obviously we've got Duncan Hoffland, who's part of Aston Martin, the only Aston driver here, but he's not racing here today, unfortunately. And then finally Tamascal. He's part of Parnell, but he's not racing here either today. So we've got a few drivers out, obviously due to other commitments. It is a Sunday evening, so people might be settling down, getting ready to start the week ahead. Well, here we are. So obviously it's a full qualifying session. So an 18-minute Q1. The bottom 5 drop out, but obviously it'll be here. It'll be just as bottom 3. So 16, 17, and 18. Then Q2, we have a 15-minute session, and then 11th down to 15th will drop out of that one. And then obviously we've got Q3, which is a final qualifying shootout. That is 12 minutes long, and that is just a top 10 fighting. And we've got someone called Optimus Prime in the lobby. I don't know who that is. I need to figure out who that is. Because I don't want to be shouting, "Oh, down the inside is Optimus Prime." So I have an inkling that the person's name isn't Optimus Prime. And here we are. We got Theo McKee and Vincent Neekvist, the first 2 out on a lap. We'll go on board with those, get all the telemetry data up. And it's Chanakinchi who is Optimus Prime. That is going to be really hard for me to remember, to be fair. So I need to make. So if you do hear me shout Optimus Prime, it is because it's one of the drivers' names. I'm not going crazy. But Theo McKee, along with Vincent and Sixton Linhart, the 3 drivers out on track. These 3, probably the 3 that are most likely to drop out. No offence to those. But they're on their laps now, just coming down in towards turn 11 is Theo McKee. Obviously we're here. It's at night time here. Well, getting close to night time here at Bahrain. And yeah, I love a night race. I really do love the night. Because with these cars, at least in 2022, they look a lot better. In 2023, the cars look really bad. But in this game, I really like them. Because they're a lot more brighter colours. So at night, it looks really nice seeing all the different cars under the lights. And Fion going to be getting ready now to begin his lap. Coming through now towards 14 and 15. And there's a few cars coming out on track. Hopefully they don't get in his way. But Theo McKee, the first driver in this session to begin a lap as he now charges. With his DRS open down towards turn 1. You're looking at around 320, 330 kilometres an hour as he heads down in towards this hairpin. And he hits 327. Chucks the brakes on about the 100-metre board. Chucks in, has a bit of a lock-up down the entry. Straight up to 5th. Full throttle as he comes out of turn 1 and 2. Now going out of 3. Down towards turn 4. Williams there just moving out the way. Nicely for Fion as he now goes in towards the braking zone. You want to brake just before the 50-metre. Chuck the car in. You want to hop the curb barely. Then if you can, ride it on the exit as you come through 5. Now in towards 6 and 7. Yet again, you've got to try and ride a bit of curb here for a bit of a rotation on the inside. You can see that Fion using the curbs for that rotation. You know, comes down in towards the hairpin at turn 8. Very nice so far. A bit scruffy on the braking, but apart from that, he's doing really, really well. As you know, comes through now in towards turn 9 and 10. You can see very difficult braking zone. Fion a bit scared there on the brakes, not taking too much of a risk in the first part of that session. He's now heads down. With the DRS is DRS zone 2. As he begins his climb up towards turn 11. Brake at the 50-metre board, chuck the car in. You want to just about hit the apex on the entry. Ride it wide on the exit. You come through now in towards turn 12. Yet again, you can either ride the curb here or not touch it at all. It's completely up to you. As you know, rides the curb on the exit of turn 12 into 13 now. Ride the curb on the exit of 13 as he takes 2 purple middle sectors, mainly because he's the only one to set 2 middle sectors so far. As you know, heads now down towards into the final corner, turn 14 and 15. Brake at the 50-metre board, chuck the car and ride the curb on the exit as he comes up towards the line. What time is this going to be for Theo McKee? It will be a 28.072. Also, we've got Yannick Schmidt on lap as well. He's currently coming through now in towards 6 and 7. Oh, bit of a... Oh, he's on Inters. Ignore me. I forgot that. Here we are. It's Q1 who's got drivers on the Inters, haven't we? Theo and Vincent Neekvist goes into first with a 27.8. But yes, I forgot about this. Kind of the intermediate championship. Some of the drivers will go out on the intermediates at the start of a session just to double check everything's working fine. Obviously, you've got your Q1, Q2, Q3. Also, it's another excuse not to burn an extra set of tyres. Because if you've got an issue with some equipment or something to do with the car, you go out on your softs, you find that out, you've wasted a set of tyres. You go out on the inters first, figure it out, you're like, right, everything's sorted now, let's go out on the softs and not waste a set of tyres. But there we are, Jan currently coming through now, down towards turn 7 and 8, and you can see Vincent, Fion and Sixton to set laps on the soft tyres. Everyone else who's out is on intermediates. That would be Jan, Liam Stevens, Franek, Yannick and Tima Zelenkiewicz. Everyone else staying in the pit lane for now. They're not going to bother. They're not going to bother going out onto track. But for many of the drivers here, obviously they're racing in Challengers for the PC, which is on Thursday. And they've got to make sure that they get a bit of preparation. And obviously they can do lots of prep with friends, with their teams. solo. But when you practice in this environment, it's serious. It's a lot different to just playing around in a practice session. In a practice session, you can take risks, you can mess about a bit. But here, you're in this league racing environment. Everything's a lot more professional in a way. So you've got to make sure, and it gives them a bit more of a realism to the tournament as well. Obviously all the rules are the same, or believe near enough the same as challengers. And there we are. We've got a subscription. Carlin's School. Thanks for the resub. 3 months. Well done now. Thank you indeed. Very appreciated for the 3 month subscription. Lars, thanks for the follow. Welcome into the stream. But yeah, obviously, anyone subs, it's really appreciated. We love that. We love the support from you guys. And Jan now quickly coming through in towards turn 4. Obviously, places himself fourth quickest at the Inter Championship. Very close actually between P4 and P6. It's about what, 500ths of a second. 5th and 6th separated by 6,000ths of a second. Obviously, it doesn't really mean anything because we're here we're here on the Inters. But no Carmen on a lap as well. He's just quickly coming through on his out lap, followed by Andres Lopez, who's just just ahead of him. Sorry, on track. He's also on the soft tyre, so we'll have 2 more people to join the runs on the softs. But so far, Vincent Nyqvist, quickest of them all, with a 27.877. Thank you, Asoles, for the follow. Welcome into the stream. Nice to see all the followers joining in. Thanks, everyone. As we now come down in towards turn 11 with Noel Carmen, about to start his lap shortly. We'll go on board with Andres Lopez, though, as he is actually coming at the final corner to begin his first lap of the session. As he now charges down the DRS main straight. Let's see what speed he hits before he hits turn 1. Theon hit 326, and Andres hits 325, so 1k MH slower as he now comes out of turn 1, now through in towards turn 2. Then he leaves it a bit later before going into 5th. Then he puts his full throttle as he heads out of turn 3. Down in towards turn 4. Hits about 307, hits the brakes, chucks the car in very nicely from Andres as he now rides the curb on the exit of turn 5, through in towards 6 and 7. Now you're going to use the curbs for rotation. 28.44455 for the first sector there for Andres as he now heads down in towards the hairpin down at turn 8. Very nice there. And you can see you want to ride the curb a little bit on the exit, just so you can bring the wheel straighter quickly. And heads down in towards turn 9 and 10. A lot more confidence on the brakes compared to Theon and Sixton. And we'll head down in towards turn 11, 12 and 13. DRS open, hits around 307, 309. Chucks the car in, keeps it in 5th, rides the wider line on the exit. As chucks it wide again as he hits the apex down at turn 12. You want to see he takes a lot of the curve there. Some drivers can't do so. It is a 106.3 for his split first and second sector. And rides the curb on the exit of 13 as heads down in towards turn 14 and 15. Should be a decent lap for Andres, and we'll see what time he can do as he comes out there. Ooh, a little bit wide, invalidates on the final corner, and that's Andres' his lap time over. Big shame there. It would have been a pretty solid time. I think it would have been a high 27 there for Andres. So obviously he's wasted a set of tyres. Not what he wants to do at all. He's going to have to get that out again on another set. Puts him a set down compared to some of the others on track. DeSolos, thanks for the bits, 14 bits, thank you, really appreciated. And no one's out. I believe we'll be getting people ready to come out soon. Though obviously, 8th down haven't set a lap time, and just so you're reminded, the bottom 3 will drop out of the session. Currently, that's Tima, Ruben, and Noel, but they haven't set laps. Noel did come out on an out lap, but I don't think he actually started his lap. I think he went back into the pits. And yes, we get ready. Here we are. Isfan Puka will be the first to set a lap on the will be the first of the to settle up on the softs. And sorry, I've got an issue with my mic. 1 second. Sorry everyone. 1 sec. There we go. Back. There we are. Sorry about that. The mic unplugged itself, and Noel says he forgot the setup. Oh, that's not ideal at all. So that's unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed. But sorry about that, I accidentally kicked my mic out of its USB hole. But Isfan is out on track. He's got he's got Chanakinchi ahead of him, Optimus Prime, coming through down towards turns 9 and 10. And Chan will be the first of the, I'll say, second runs in this session. First run for him, but second in general, as we've had a top 3 set a reasonable lap. 4th to 7th haven't, because they set a lap on the Inters. And now Optimus Prime, Chan Akinci. I need to remember that. I'm going to keep calling him Optimus Prime by accident. I'm gonna have to add him on Steam and then change his nickname for me so I can have it as Chan. Because it's weird as well with the Steam names, because some people will have it as this, but some will just have it as Chan, which is weird. But I don't know. As now he heads down towards turn 14 and 15, going to be setting his first lap of the session. Probably looking for a mid 27, maybe a low 27. So I think peak around here is a 26.8, 26.9. I'm not sure if we'll see drivers hit that today, but there's also always a possibility. As we now head down towards turn 1 with Janakinch, let's see what speed he hits before he goes into the braking zone at turn 1. 325, hits the brakes, turns in very nicely there, down to 3rd, shifts up to 4th. Then he can go near enough full throttle there. Lots of throttle application from Chan. As he now heads out at turn 3, down in towards turn 4. It should be a pretty solid first sector. Brakes just before the 50, chucks the car in, just about hits the curb on the entry. Then he can ride it on the exit as he heads through turn 5. This will be a solid first sector, 28.256. For Chan as he now heads down in towards turn 8. And let's see, brakes, chucks the car in down to 3rd. So you can see takes a lot lower gears compared to some other drivers. Chan does some, will keep it in 4th there. He goes down to 3rd. As he now heads down towards turn 9 and 10. A lot later on the brakes, keeps it in 4th. Misses the apex barely, so could lose a little bit of time going through there. And he now rides the curb on the exit as he heads with the DRS down in towards turn 11. So obviously we said currently Vincent's quickest, as no one else has set a lap since the start of the session. Well, set a reasonable lap anyway, since the start of the session. And Chan now rides the curb completely in turn 12. Theon, we saw before, did the exact opposite. And there we are. Chan, a 5.9 in the split for the first and second. I think that's about 3 tenths quicker than what Vincent did. So this should be a great lap for Chan. He now chucks itself in towards turn 14 and 15. Straight up to 5th, rides the curb on the exit. That's where we saw Andres lose his time. But Chan did it fine. And he set to 27.512. Will Lewis also currently coming through now. He's going in towards turn 9 and 10. But a few people also heading up towards on. I think that's one of the Aston Martins. This Van Pookie goes second with a .669. Very nice lap there. As we come through, down in towards turn 11 with Will Lewis. Spencer Abercrombie goes into 3rd with a .706. Just about half tenth quicker than Vincent. Vincent does improve to a .7. Very nice lap there. Yannick Schmitz goes up into 5th with a 27.829. Dylan Warren goes up to 2nd. Still no one able to touch within a tenth, not even a tenth and a half, of Chanakinchi. And there we are. Very nice lap there from Dylan. 5 thousandths quicker than his Van Pookie. We've also got, I believe, Ruben Pedreño goes 2 tenths quicker than Chanakinchi with a 27.343. Really nice lap time there. Will Lewis up to the line. Megan Higo goes up to the line and puts himself 3rd, just a little bit quicker than Dylan Warren with a 27.644. And then we've got Ishmael Fassi. He goes up to only 6th position with a .676. And then Valentin Brufat, he goes up to 8th with a 27.721. And there we are. That's the second runs of the session done. First runs for many of the drivers as we go through now. And we'll just have a little look. The gap to lead up because it's very close. There we are. So first to 3rd isn't close, but further down you've got 3rd down to 9th. That's within a 10th. You've got the little group of 11th to 13th there within a 10th. Then obviously Ruben, very quick there, 0.16 tenths quicker than Chan, and then Chan also a tenth and a half quicker than Will. And we've also got a spin, I think that's Sixton Linhart. Yes, it is down at the exit of turn 8, using a bit too much power, I believe, on the exit, and then just spinning the car, losing it completely. But yeah, obviously a lot of time for 14th and below to improve on. Jan hasn't set a reasonable lap time yet. I believe he's let off on his lap. Yes, he has. And obviously Franek currently on a lap as well. He's heading down in towards turn 11 now. He's got a Mercedes just ahead. Let's see if this is a push lap for Franek. I think it might be. We'll keep on board though as he comes through now in towards turn 12. Rides the curb a little bit later than the others, I think, there. Or it's just the angle. He's not on a lap because he's 6 seconds down. And Phil McKeith was up by, well, down by 200 in that first set. We'll go back to the gap to the fastest lap. And Courtney Fiant with a 28.072, only setting 1 lap time so far. And the bottom 3 is Noel Coleman, Jan Haldane, Sixton. And I'm not sure Noel will go back out because he seems quite angry about not having his setup sorted. Thanks, Noel, for the raid. Really appreciated. And he says CBA, so I don't know if that means he'll go. Are you going to go out or not? Again, Noel, if you're still in here. But yeah, Jan, obviously the one who hasn't set a lap yet, he needs to get a good lap in. Jan should not be down in the bottom 3 at all. And Sixton also just down in that bottom 3. But Theo McKee, let's see, can he improve, put himself into that top 10? Would be really nice. for the driver, and now he heads back in towards the pit lane. We've also got some retirements. So we've got Chan, Dylan, Istvan, and Bentz all thinking their times are secure, which they should easily be, especially Istvan and up. Not sure about Bentz's because that's a 0.7. It might be a bit close. But I think the cutoff will be around a 0.7, 0.8 possibly. And there we have. Yeah, we are. So the top 7, apart from Ruben, have all decided to retire. Now, Vincent also retires as well, on a 0.741. So he thinks that must be safe. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens at the end of the session. But so far it is Sixton, Jan and Noel. Obviously Jan's the one who should not be in that bottom 3 at all. No offence to the two, but Jan should, in my opinion, be in that top 5, realistically. And we also look through, obviously we've got Franek Moraviak, very close to that cut-off points. He's about 500ths off the back of Sixton. He's on a 0.372, a tenth ahead Liam Stevens. 2 tenths ahead of him is Fion. And then we have Timo Zelikiewicz just a little bit up the road from him. And also Andres, very close as well. But Yannick, not thinking his time's good enough to get himself through to Q2. So he's going out again now. He's currently on a 27.829. He's got a lot of improvement to make. If he wants to improve position, he's got to make at least a 10th. Yannick should be able to do that. Obviously, joining Williams very recently. Yannick Schmidt, very quick driver, one of the Germans here today. So it should be one of the quickest. And I presume he's got some sort of Williams engineer with him today. It'll be I think it's one of his first races, realistically, in the Williams team. Obviously, it's not an actual esports event, but still, you know, it's a race he's representing Williams in, obviously, in the Williams car. Noel, yep, not going to go out this session at all, so that's Noel practically out. So unfortunately, only 2. Well, unfortunately for Noel, he's out the session, but fortunately for the drivers, only 2 will go out because Noel's already out. So Jan and Sixton need to get themselves out of that dropout zone. So I can't really call at the moment who will drop out, because it could be any of these bottom 10 and bottom 8 at the moment, depending on if they can improve. And Noel's left the session, so I believe he's not going to be driving at all. But Yannick Schmidt's now heading down in towards turn 1 to begin his final fly nap of the session. He's got to get this lap right because he's going to be close to that cut-off section, as it will gradually decrease. As he now heads out of turn 3, down in towards turn 4 with the DRS open. Let's see, where does he get? He gets to about 304, chucks the brakes, and you can see there, just really rides the curve barely in that turn 4, then completely rides it on the exit of turn 5. Now in towards 6 and 7, improves by about a tenth. That could be good enough for him to try and jump possibly Bent Sabakoni into 7th. Now he heads in towards turn 8. Shifts then to 3rd, back up to 4th on the exit. Then he slowly applies the throttle as he heads up into 5th gear. Now he heads through in towards turn 9 and 10. You can see he only goes to 6th gear there. Many drivers go into 7th. Misses the apex though there at turn 10. That could be crucial for his lap time, as he now heads down with the DRS yet again for the second time in towards turn 11. You've got to see, hits the brakes down to 5th, rides the curb on the entry, then rides a little bit wider on the exit, as we've seen all the time. And, heads through in towards turn 12 and 13. He's got to keep this lap time right. Does he improve? He does by 0.2 of a second. This is looking like a really good lap. Could possibly put him into that top 5 for Yannick if he can keep it clean through these final couple of corners. Noel finishes in 18th, doesn't set a lap time due to forgetting his setup. But Yannick now goes into the final couple of corners. Got to ride the curb without invalidating. He does it perfectly. Up to line, where can Yannick Schmidt go? It could be a top 5. And it's a top 3 for Yannick, a 0.579. Next, we've got Andres Lopez. He's on a lap. He's up by a tenth in the first. Nearly a tenth and a half. So this cut-off point is going to get lower and lower because many drivers are improving it there on track. We go a little further down. We've got Theo McKee. He's up as well. He's currently coming through. In towards turn 12 and 13. Let's see where he improves. So Jan Halliday goes 5th. Theo McKee up by 0.2 of a second. Now, this could be a 0.7 for him. Liam Stevens only goes 14th to the 28.048. So that could not be enough to get himself through. But actually, Franek Moraviak is retired on session. On track, so that's him out of the session. Now it's time for Sixton. Can he improve and get himself out? He's currently coming down in towards turn 14, 15. Where does Theo McKee go to as he comes up towards the line? He goes into 12th position. We've also got Timo Zelikiewicz into that top 5. Andres Lopez up to 4th. Where can Sixton go? He puts himself through to 13th. Now I think that means that Liam Stevens Sixton doesn't make it out. It was close though, but just about keeps. I thought he improved there, but obviously not. And Tom, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. But there we are. Big shame there for Sixton not getting through. Franek Moraviak, unfortunately, had an issue on his lap. I think that was down at turn 10. And Noel Common didn't have a setup, so he hasn't set a lap in this session, unfortunately. But the top 15 all go through, which is starting from the top. Ruben Bergenio, great lap. Only set one lap. Put himself with a 0.3. Then we have Optimus Prime, that is Chanakinchi, Yannick Schmidt, Andres Lopez, Will Louis, Yes, Will Lewis, Tim Zelenkiewicz, Jan Halliday, Dylan Warren, Istvan Pukin, Ismail Fassi take out the top 10. We have Bent Sobakonyi, Valentin Bruffa, Theo McKee, Vincent Nyqvist, and Liam Stevens is your top 15 through to qualifying 2. Thanks, John Evans, for the follow. Thanks, Rishan and Leonard, all for the follows. Welcoming everyone. Great to see lots of follows in it today. We've already had about 10, I think, in the first 15, 20 minutes of the stream. And we're now heading towards Q2 to see who will make it through to that top 10 shootout. So very close there in that session. Obviously, just about unfortunate for Sixton, was about to make it through, but just didn't have enough time in that lap and just suffered with the 16th. And there we have people getting ready, already on laps. And we have, there we are, Mercedes and a Red Bull heading out onto track. Let's have a look who that is. That's probably Ishmael. It is Ishmael. And we've also got an Alpine going out as well. I think another car in front. Actually, there's quite a few cars going out. We've got Aston Martin, AlphaTauri and a Haas, all exiting the pit lane, ready to begin their first runs of this qualifying tour. Obviously, everyone will be on soft tyres this time. Some will be on used, some will be on new. We'll be able to determine that after they set their first laps. And sometimes you can just see a bit of rubbing on the tyre. So it looks like Ishmael is on a used set. It's very hard to tell, but you can see that the tyres just aren't as shiny as the new tyres. As he heads through in towards turn 4. And the front of the train is the Haas. That is Chanakinchi. He's on used tyres as well, I believe. We'll need to find someone who I think's on new tyres so we can have a look. Because look, Liam's tyres look a bit brighter, to be fair, than the others. And I'm not sure if that's just me thinking it is, or if it actually is. As we go out now, we'll leave the telemetry off for this one. Just because it takes a bit of screen up. Once go on Bordu-chan, as he was the first one, I believe, to begin the first set of runs last session. And he'll be the first to begin the runs of this session. Obviously, we've got a few drivers staying in the pits. That's Will, Dylan, Andres, Vion, Valentin, and Istvan, all staying in the pit lanes. Everyone else going out on a lap. I believe most of them on used tyres. Ruben Progenio also joining them as well. I think he's if he's that car there coming out of turn 10, or if that's one of the other cars, because the blue. It's very hard to tell the difference, in my opinion, between all the different blues, because we've got about 4 different cars running a blue dot on the map. And also Lefted, thanks for the follow, welcome in. And Optimus Prime, Chanakinchi. I keep saying Optimus Prime. I need to change his name afterwards because it's I don't like how it is. But Chan coming out of turn 2 and 3 now. Very nice start. We'll go have a look at the telemetry yet again. There we are. Comes into 7th gear as he heads now down in towards turn 4. Brakes down to 4, chucks the car in, back up to 5th on the exit, and he can ride the curb a little bit as he comes through. Now in towards turns 6 and 7, 28.399 in that first sector, so I do believe that is used tyres. As he now heads down in towards turn 8, you can see riding the curb on the braking, so you then have a bit more space to turn in the car, get it straightened upon the exit, and you can then head down in towards turn 9 and 10 where he is now. Brakes down, shifts down to 4th. You can see, I don't know if that's the play, but many drivers not riding that exit, the apex on the exit of turn 10. Well, the entry of turn 10, I should say. As he now heads down in towards turn 11. You can see riding a little bit wider on the exit, as he can give him a better line going through into 12 and 13. You can see riding the curve completely. Some drivers not riding it at all, some riding it a lot. As Chan now comes out of that turn 13, down towards 14 and 15. Sven, thank you for the follow, welcome in. And now, let's see what time Chan can do. Obviously on his used set of soft tyres. Should be looking to easily get himself out of this Q2 session. But obviously, you don't know until the session ends. And in there goes quickest at 27.958. Jan Halliday coming through now in towards turn 13. A 6.7 on his lap. Vincent Nyqvist goes quickest with a 27.7. Bent Sabakonyi just a few thousandths behind Optimus Prime. A few thousandths behind Chanakinchi. Sorry. With a 27.987. Jan Halliday currently coming through the final couple of corners now. We've also got another couple of cars going up towards on that. Shannik Schmitz with a 28.5 and Jan a 28.5 as well. Liam Stevens up to the line. Where does he go? Up to second with a 27.857. Ismail Fassi is invalidated, so is Tim Zelenkiewicz on their first runs of this session. So that's not ideal for them. They're going to have to go back out again on their tyres. But so far, Vincent leading the session. He led the session last session, but by the end, he was down in 14th. So obviously leading the session at the start doesn't always guarantee you're going to get through at the end at all. But great lap there from Vincent. And I don't think anyone else is actually on a proper lap time. I don't know if Jan is, because Jan set a 28.5, which isn't a lap time. Normally Jan should be setting, he should be a lot quicker than that. Should be at least in the 27s, even if he's on used tyres. Yannick Schmidt just a few thousandths quicker than him. He's on a 28.5 as well. So both of those two not having the best starts to the session. Theo McKee's on an 8 lap now. He's currently coming out of turn 1 and 2. He's going to be looking to get some good times in this session. He's heads down in towards turn 4. And I'm sorry about the adverts because I've noticed there's a lot playing, but I don't organise the adverts that play. He's going to come through with Theon. Let's see, does Jan go back into the pits? I believe he will. Yes, he's on no fuel, so he'll go back into the pits. Theon just coming out now of turn 8. So let's know whether the sound's fine, because I really can't tell if the sound's good or not for the game. I know my voice is fine, but I'm not sure about the game itself. But let us know, is there anyone you think will be out of Q2? Or you think might top Q2? Let us know in the chat. It's also nice to see everyone's opinions on what they think will happen as we now come through. Theon will be the only driver on a lap shortly. Everyone else will be in the pit lane. There they are. Theon, the only driver out on track. And Leo, as I say, is Theon definitely out in Q2. Well, Leo, you was wrong because you said that Theon would start 18th, and he hasn't. So your prediction was heavily wrong because he's going to start at least 15th. As now Theo McKee comes out to the final corner to begin his first lap of the session. And also we've got many of the drivers now on out laps that could compromise Theo a little bit if some of them are not aware he's on a lap as he now heads down. In towards turn 1, we'll go on board. We've got a few cars coming out onto track. There's the Red Bull, luckily braking in time to let Theon through. And there's also an Alpine and a Haas just ahead at turn 3. You can see there Theon being a lot more confident this session on the brakes and the throttle compared to last session. As he now heads down in towards turn 4. Brakes just before the 50. Oh, bit of a lock-up though. Not too clean there from Theon through that turn 4 there. So he's going to lose time. But he does go purple though with a 28.413 in that first sector. As he now heads down in towards turn 8. A little bit scruffy on the exit of turn 7. Taking a little bit too much curb. But luckily can fix it as he went into the braking zone. And he now comes through in towards turns 9 and 10. You can see there. Just touching the curb a little bit. A little bit of a lock-up, bit slow there through that section. As you now head through, down in towards turn 11, and Alfa Romeo there just moving out the way. That will be Will Lewis. And now Theon through, in towards turn 11, now in towards turn 12. So we've got to try and get this correct. Very nice there. Now into 13, 6.444 for the split of the first and second. Doesn't hit the apex there on turn 13. Very scruffy lap from Theon so far. But for now, we'll put him through to Q3 because we've got many drivers that haven't set laps yet. And now in towards turn 15 and up to the line. Where does Theon put his Haas car? It will be up into 5th with a 28.2. Valentine Bruffer's now on a lap. He's currently coming down in towards turn 4 in the McLaren. His teammate, who was in the other McLaren, Frank Mraviak, he's out of the session. He starts 17th after failing to complete a run to get him through to Q2. And it's a 28.249 for Valentine. Very nice start in that first sector. He's now heads down in towards turn 8. Shifts up to 4th. Early on the power, up to 5th. He now heads down in towards turns 9 and 10. Very nice there. And on the exit, you want to see ride the curb a little bit as he comes out. Rides the curb completely for Valentine as he now heads down with the DRS down in towards turn 11 and 12. You can see there, shifting down to 5th or 4th. It's up to you, but Valentine choosing 5th as he now rides the curbs as he heads through into turn 12, rides the curb completely, now in towards 13 as he rides the curb on the entry, then rides the curb on the exit. 5.9 for the first sector and second sector combined for Valentine. Should be a pretty good time, should easily put him into that top spot ahead of Vincent as he now heads down in towards the final couple of corners. And Dylan Warren goes quickest out with a 27.438. Can Valentine get quicker? No, he can't. He's about 7 thousandths off with a 4.45. Ruben Bedranio, who topped the first session, 2 tenths nearly clear of Chanakinchi. He's on a lap now. He's currently coming through. Istvan Pukki goes first with a 27.2, just 2.5 tenths quicker than Dylan Warren there. Very nice lap. And Ruben goes quickest though in that second sector. And that's Chanakinchi going just a few thousandths back on Istvan Pukki with a 27.222. Ruben now into the final couple of corners. Where can he put himself as he comes out at turn 15? We've also got Ishmael Fassi up to 3rd. Can Ruben jump all of them? Yes, he can. A 27.141. Very nice lap there for Ruben. Now we have Will Lewis currently coming out of the final corner. Let's see where he can put his car. Currently, Ruben tops the session by nearly a tenth to Isfan Pookie. That's what we saw near enough last time. And Will Lewis goes up into 6th with a 27.427. So currently the bottom 5 is Jan Halliday, Fionn McKee, Yannick Schmidt, Andres Lopez, Liam Stevens. They'll all be dropping out at the session unless they can improve. Jan Halliday's on an improvement though. Where can he go? Up into 6th position. So that now drops Timo Zelenkiewicz into that bottom 5 into the drop zone. And Vincent still barely holding on to that Q3 appearance with a 27.700, 5 thousandths off the drop-off point to Timo Zelenkiewicz. I don't know why there is a poll saying you'll be Q3, but I don't think you will, because you're currently 15th. There we are, all the laps set, and everyone will be piling back into the pits, get a new set of tyres on as they head back out for their final runs of the session. And there we are, everyone pitting in. How far off is he going to be from P1? 7 tenths. Or 6 tenths. Not sure. So I think Ruben, I don't think he'll go out again at all, because there'd be no point. There's no way everyone in the top 10 is going to be at 27.141. So he'll probably retire. So probably will the top 5. Maybe Jan and Will as well. Not quite sure what they think the cut-off point will be. But we've got Vincent out now. He definitely has to go out because he's 5 thousandths off the dropout zone. There we are. Chanakinchi retires from the session. Vincent is the first to go out onto track now as he comes out of turn 3. Ishmael Fassi also retiring. Isfan Pookie. So the top 5, as we pretty much said, would retire. And now Vincent comes through. In towards turn 4. As he's now heading through into turn 8. Heading towards turn on 10 in the middle set 2. We've also got Liam Stevens out on a lap as well. He's currently on his 8th lap down to turn 4. Ruben Progenio retires from the session. Knowing obviously he doesn't need to improve at all on his time, so he's going to save himself a set of softs going through. Jan Halliday also chooses to retire, but Bence doesn't. He goes out on a lap, and then Will, who's just a 10th behind, chooses to go out as well. So either Jan's called it very well, or he's been a little bit too optimistic and retired early. But Vincent currently coming out of turn 13 now. He'll he will be beginning his lap, his final lap of the Q2 session now. And hopefully he can get himself through into Q3. But there's many drivers behind him who are very quick. So a lot of work for Vincent to do as he now heads out at the final corner, turn 15. Vincent begins the long train down towards turn 1. Let's see, where does he hit? What speed does he do? He does 327. As you know, brakes, so a lot higher wing lot lower wing compared to the other drivers out here, taking about 2 or 3 kilometres more down that main straight. As you know, heads out of turn 3. Now going to be charging in towards turn 4 very shortly with the DRS. As it hits about 309, brakes, chucks the car in down to 4th. You can see they're very, very optimistic on the throttle. As you know, comes out of turn 4 and 5 in towards 6 and 7. He's up by half a tenth in that first sector. So currently nowhere near enough to improve on the 9th position time, but it is getting closer to it. As you know, heads out of turn 8, you can see. I've noticed Vincent's throttle looks really weird on my camera. It looks like it's very jolty as he comes through. Now in towards turn 10, goes down to 5th. So many drivers taking 4th or 3rd, but Vincent taking 5th through there. And he's let off. That's why. So Vincent won't be improving on his time this session. Brew for those on the time as well. He's now currently coming down in towards turn 1. Let's have a look at one of the drivers in the dropout zone. Yannick Schmidt, he's up by 5 tenths. Oh no, that was on his first lap. He's not up by 5 tenths in the first sector. Don't worry. He's up by a tenth and a half though. A 28.265. Very nice lap and sector there for Yannick as he heads down in towards turn 8. Got to want to be looking to improve, get himself into that top 10. He's got to improve by about 2.5, 3 tenths to get through. But realistically, he wants to be in that 0.4, 0.3 to be absolute clear and get himself through. He now comes out of turn 9 and 10. DRS open as he now charges down towards turns 11 and 12. And there we are. If you've not crossed the line, you're not going to improve. And there we are. Vincent into the pits will most likely drop out of the session. But Yannick Schmidt now going to be improving still as he comes through in towards 12 and 13. Let's see, does he improve? He does by 5. He does improve by 5 tenths, but this time in the second sector, not in the first. Very nice there from Yannick. That's a 5.8 split for the two sectors combined. This is looking great to put Yannick into this top 5, top 3, like we saw last session. Let's see what time Yannick can set. He said at the start he's slow around here before we started, but obviously not. As he goes to the top, no, he goes 7th only with a 27.3. Team Zelenkiewicz on time as well. Liam Stevens has retired from the session in the pits. Let's see, can Tima get himself out of this dropout zone? Dylan Warren only goes 9th though. Can Tima improve? Yes, he can, but only to 11th. Now we've got Finn, he's up by a 10th. We've also got Andres Lopez as well improving, but Tima's out of the session, so is Vincent and Liam. Now Andres and Finn are the only ones to try and deny Dylan and Will of a Q3 appearance. Now into the final couple of corners. Can Andres improve? Can he get himself into that top 10? He's got to set a 0.4. It's going to be close. Up to the line. Goes into 11th. Can Theon deny Dylan Warren a Q3? I don't think he can. I think he stayed 15th. Let's see. No, he doesn't. He goes 14th, though. But there we are. Dylan Warren very close to that cut-off point. But luckily for him, just about makes it through into Q3. And there we are. The bottom 5 for that session was Liam Stevens, Theon McKee, Vincent Nigvis, Timo Zelenkiewicz, and Andres Lopez. So that leaves us now with Ruben Progenio, Istvan Pukki, Chana Kinchi, Ishmael Fassi, Bent Sabakonyi, Jan Halliday, Yannick Schmidt, Valentin Brufat, Will Lewis, and finally Dylan Warren for the Q3 shootout. I think that was pretty easy to predict at the start of the session who'd be through. And very great laps from those guys, all within 3 tenths of each other in that first set, in that second session. But Ruben, yet again, quicker than others, only setting 1 lap, getting himself through into first. Great start from him, but he's got to keep it up into Q3. And then also, we've got a 50% race. So yes, he might be quickest in qualifying, but if he can't keep it up in the race, then, well, it's not going to go all too well for him, is it? And now, here we are, beginning the Q3 shootout. 12 minutes of session of qualifying to go. And Mercedes already looking to get Ishmael Fassi out on track, I believe, as you can see the mechanics. And I believe also Red Bull looking to get their car out as well. That will be Ruben. There we are, Mercedes calling it out first. Let's see, does anyone beat Ishmael out the pit lane? I don't think they do. No, they don't. So Ishmael will be the first to set a lap this session, getting out early. Obviously, realistically, drivers want to be in that 27.0, 27.1. Some of them, if they're lucky, might go through for a 0.9, 0.8 at the very, very max. And thanks there, Angry Fed, for the follow. Welcome into the stream. Going to set everything up quickly. So there we are. We'll go on board with Ishmael. Mercedes the first out. In the Mercedes, also Yannick Schmidt also coming out of the pit lane as well. He's going to be the third driver to set a lap. Yannick obviously making a good appearance here to get into Q3. He told me at the start he was slow around here and he didn't want to race because he was slow. Either he said that on purpose because he didn't want to race, or he was just lying and he was really, really quick anyway. Thanks, Vincent, for the follow. Welcome in. But yeah, let us know, anyone. Who do you think will become the driver to take pole? I think Ruben, in my opinion, will take pole. I think it's a pretty safe bet. But anyone else thinks different, let us know. Who do you think will take pole? Where is Alessio? Alessio's not here because he's... Oh, wait, where is Alessio? I thought he was racing, but I guess not. Because Zelenkiewicz took his place. So, I'm not sure why, but I presume it was something to do with personal reasons. But only 3 drivers on the track at the moment, so they're going out very early compared to the others. But let's see what time Ishmael can do. He's obviously on used tyres, comes out the final corner to begin his first flying lap of the session, the first lap of the Q3 session. As you know, heads down towards turn 1. And Ishmael been very quick this qualifying so far, so should easily look to put himself into that top 5, possibly a top 3 if he can make it work in this session. But obviously he's used to driving the Williams car, so maybe that could give him a bit of difference in time if he's not used to driving the Mercedes. I know obviously the cars themselves are the same, but the angles and all stuff like that can be a little bit different in all the cars. As we now head through, Ishmael goes for a 28.2 in the first sector. He's now heads down in towards turn 8. He's got a couple of drivers behind. That's Ruben and Yannick. Also, we got a couple more drivers on 8 laps. That is Valentine and I believe, let's see who it is. It's Jan Halliday in the Ferrari. And so far, from what I can see, Ferrari are the only drivers to get both of them through. But the constructor standings doesn't matter at all, really. It's all about the driver's standings. It's all about people getting prepared for challenges. Everyone here, I believe, apart from Yannick, is driving in challenges this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. So obviously these are going to be here to practice for challenges, figure out where their competitors are at in terms of pace, and obviously work on it all with the engineers, figure out everything they need to figure out for the challenges season. And there we are, Ishmael with a point. I think it was a 0.8 there. 5.8 split in the middle sector in the first. As heads out the final corner. Let's see, where can Ishmael Fassi go to the line? He doesn't. He pits. Ruben is on a lap as well. He's currently coming through up towards the line. Where can he put his Red Bull? He'll be top, and it'll be a 26.9 for the first lap of the session. Yannick Schmidt goes up to second with a 27.880, but Ruben Pedreño, great lap there. I still can't pronounce his name right. It's like a tongue twister. Ruben Pedreño. I always get it mixed up. I can never say it right, but there we are. Great lap there from Ruben, a 26.922. And now everyone decides to jump out the pit lane to try and beat that time. Obviously, Ruben's got another run left to go, so he can easily improve on that if he wants to. And he probably will go out and improve because you're in Q3, you've got nothing to lose. Valentine Bruffanet begins the lap. Let's see, can he try and get himself into the 0.9s as he comes out now? Out of turn 3, down with the DRS in towards turn 4. Brakes at the 50-metre board, chucks the car in as usual, puts it down to 4th, back up to 5th on the exit, and you can see gradually increases the throttle as comes through. He goes to 28.248 in that first sector, goes purple in the first sector as heads down in towards turn 8. The hairpin, be very careful there, and you can see on the exit just puts himself back on the throttle really nicely there from Valentine, able to easily put his foot down on the throttle. Now he heads down in towards turn 9 and 10, a very difficult part of the track, probably the most difficult part of the track for many of the drivers. Here's opens the DRS yet again as he heads down in towards turn 11. Got to brake at about the 50-metre board as he chucks the car in very nicely there. We've also got some people letting off to begin laps, or because they've just finished laps and they're going back into the pits. But Valentino currently coming through in towards turn 12. You've got Will Lewis ahead. Will is on an out lap, so we'll probably get out of his way before Valentine crosses the line. Ruben pits. He'll be probably coming out again at the end of the session to start his final flying lap. And Valentino in towards turn 14 and 15. This is going to look like a really nice lap for Valentine if he can just hook up the final corner, which he does. Up to the line, where can he go? Will it be 27? It'll be 27.310. Puts him into second for now. Will Lewis begins his lap, but Dylan Warren on lap as well. He's currently coming through in towards turn 11 and 12. We've got a few cars ahead. That's Jan Halliday also currently coming up to the line, but we'll stick on board with Dylan. He sets a 5.939 as he's split for the first two sectors. Jan goes up into third with a 0.5. Then we've got Chan, goes up to second with a 0.1. And then we've also got the Aston Martin of Istvan Pookie. Where does he go? Up to second with a 27.0. And then also Ishmael Fazli, who's beginning a lap. And where does Dylan Warra go? Up to the line. Can he get into a 27s? He can. It'll be 27.518 there. Not an ideal lap time for Dylan. But also, Bansaba Konye goes into fourth at a 0.140. But Ruben's still the only driver to get into the 0.9s. He's nearly 2/10 clear of his fans so far. He's doing really good in this qualifying session. The best of them all, I think, so far throughout qualifying. Will Lewis, he's on a lap though. However, he's currently coming through in towards turn 12 and 13. Where does he go in the middle? He does a 105.645. Really great start there for Will. Bit of a slide on the exit at turn 13, but I think this could be good enough to actually try and get close to Will's time, to Ruben's time, because I think Ruben did a 0.6 as well in that second sector. Split. But let's see now as Will comes out of the final corner. Where can he go on the timing boards? It'll be a good time. It'll be a 0.2. Puts him into P5. Ishmael Fassi on the time as well. He's currently coming now down into turn 11 as he comes out of the DRS straight at turn 10. Let's see where he can put his car as he comes through. In towards turn 12 and 13. He goes, a 5.5 this is looking really, really, really clean for Ismail Fassi. As you know, comes out of turn 13, now charging down in towards turn 14 and 15. And this is going to look to be a really great lap time. As you know, heads out at the final couple of corners, up into 5th, DRS open, down towards the line. Where's this going to be for Ismail Fassi? It'll be it'll be provisional P2. I thought that was going to be 26 then, but no. Just still, no one can beat Ruben. Ruben's on a flyer so far, 26.922 for the first lap of the session. Great lap time. There's still many lap times to improve for Yannick and Jan and Dylan, all got to improve by at least a few tenths to get themselves into the mix. And Will Lewis going to be heading back into the pit lane, as he obviously won't be setting another lap, and he's not on a lap now as he's in gear 5 coming through turn 12. But obviously everyone now will be waiting to start their final laps of the Q3 session. Obviously these are the laps that matter, because these are the ones who get you first, second or third, and are also the laps that you get you 8th, 9th or 10th. So you've got to make sure that you hook it up perfectly, and at the moment any of the drivers here could try and take that provisional pole away, because they're all top level drivers, and some of them might have made mistakes on the laps which could have cost them tenths and tenths of a second, as this track doesn't like to reward you when you make mistakes. It really likes to punish you, and you can lose lots of time by the simplest mistake. And Ishmael, you can see they're just entering the pit lane now in the Mercedes. He will be boxing. And just to read through the top 10, so we've got Ruben on pole, followed by Ismail Fassi, Isfan Pookie, and Chana Kinchi. Then we've got Ben Sabakonyi, and Will Lewis, Valentin Bruffa. Then the final 3, we've got Dylan Warren, Jan, and Yannick. Down at the bottom, so Ferrari, Dylan and Jan got a lot of time to gain. They're on a 0.5 at the moment. They should be at least in the 0.1s. Ika Boyana has joined the session, so I don't know if he's actually going to be taking over one of the drivers or if he's just joining for the fun of it. I don't know. But Ben Sabakonyi on an 8 lap now, followed by Valentin Bruffa for the first 2 to go for a lap. The final lap of the session, Bent's on a 0.14. Great lap time from him there to put himself in that top 5. But Valentin's still in a 0.3. He's got a bit of time to gain. He's got to get at least 2 or 3 tenths if he wants to be in that top 5. Or even still in the top 7. He could get really, these lap times will come flying down at the end of the session. Isfan and Ishmael not going out yet, but they are now. Just not showing up on the screens. So here we are, all the drivers now about to begin their final laps of the Q3 session. We've got about a minute of the session left to go, so everyone will make the line for their final runs. And I'm going to say Ruben will take pole, but everyone else let us know. Do you think different? Who do you think will take pole in this session? Because I think, yes, you would go safe with Ruben, but many other people could come and make a charge as well. Obviously, I don't know if any of the... And some of you in here might be engineers for different drivers, so you might know a bit of hidden pace that's there, or what mistakes drivers made and what times they're capable of doing. I don't know. So obviously some people have a bit more information on what their drivers can achieve in the sessions. So now, Vance Sabakonyi comes out at turn 13. Obviously says he's not on an 8 lap, but he still is. But he's currently coming through now into the final couple of corners. Let's see what Ben Sabakonyi can do. He's now heads down towards the line to begin the first final lap of the Q3 session, and he hits about 325 kilometers an hour as he breaks into turn 1. It's 23 actually, a couple of kilometers an hour slower than what I said, but now he comes through in towards turns 2 and 3, down to 4th, shift to 5th a lot later than many of the other drivers, but he makes it work as he now heads down in towards turn 4 with the DRS. It's about 306, brakes down to 4th, chucks the car in back up to 5th, back on the barrow nice and quickly as he now rides the curb as he comes through in towards the end of this sector, and it's a 28.145. Very nice lap there. Sector there for Ben Sabakonyi. Now in towards turn 8 at the hairpin. You've got to take this very nicely, and he does so with ease. Very nice there from Bence. But you've got to remember, he's got to gain lots of time in the middle and the third part of the section. If he makes a mistake now, that could be it all over no matter what he did in that first part of the on the first part of the lap, as he now heads down with the DRS yet again, the second DRS zone as he heads in towards turn 11. Very nice. So you can see a lot more confidence, a lot more risk being taken by the drivers now in this final part of the session, because you know there's a lot to lose, but there's also a lot to gain. But there we are, Bent's up by nearly 10th. That's good enough for possibly a provisional P2 at the moment. Provisional front row start. Well, let's see what he can do. Can he improve in the final part of the lap? As you know, comes down in towards turn 14 and 15. This is looking like a really great start from Bent Sabakonye. Up towards the line now. Where can he go? It'll be a provisional P2, I think, for now. It's a provisional P4, so loses time in the final part of the lap. We've also got Valentin Brufat, finishes fourth, just 2,000ths quicker than Bent Sabakon. You've also got Yannick Schmidt, doesn't improve, stays down in 10th position, but Will Lewis goes up to third. We've also got one of the Ferraris, that's Dylan Warren, up to 8th. We've also got Optimus Prime. Chanakinchi, sorry, up to second with a .953. Still no one can beat Ruben Progenio in this session. Istvan Perky up to line as well. Where can he try and improve to? Jan Halliday can't get out of that 9th. He stays down in 9th behind Dylan Warren, but Istvan Perky up to the line. Where can he go? Does take second off of Chan by 1,000th. Ishmael Fassi, can he improve as well? Coming out of the final couple of corners. Where can he go? Can he try and take that provisional second? And he doesn't. He stays in fourth, I believe. But very close there. Just a few, well, 1,000th between P2 and P3. Really, really close at the end of that qualifying session. But Ruben, not even needing to set a final run, and takes pole. Magnificent from Ruben there. Topped all the sessions and didn't even set a final lap on any of them. I think he only did one lap in every session. And then obviously P2, the front row start for Istvan Pukki, followed by Chanakinchi, 1,000th behind. Then we have Ishmael Fassi, who did improve, but not enough. He barely puts himself into the .9s. Then we have Will Lewis in top 5, followed by Valentin Brufat, Bent Sabakonya, then the two Ferraris, 8th and 9th. Then Yannick Schmidt locks out the 10th position and didn't improve on his lap, so he stays about a second behind Ruben's time. But great there from Ruben at the top. And thank you, Tick for the follow there. I pronounced that completely wrong. My bad. My apologies. And now we get ready to begin the race. The 27 or 29 laps of pure pain for many of the drivers that hate the track. But for people like Ruben, I think he's going to be enjoying this, as he's got a competitive edge over everyone so far. And it's a bit like watching Max Verstappen, isn't it? Just completely blitz the field. And there we are, as we get up ready to start under the lights for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Obviously, not fully night yet. It starts just before it heads into night time. But obviously, by the time we get to the end of the race, it will be pitch black sky. You can see there all the mechanics T-posing outside the garages. And all the drivers now will be sorting out their setups, their tyres, speaking with the engineers, teammates, figuring out what they need to do in this session to make it work the best. And we get started in around 15 seconds. But let us know in the chat, who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to take the top 3? Because I'll be really intrigued to know. But we have 10 seconds to go before we begin. Under the lights here at Bahrain. For the first round here at the Et8 Challenge Cup. Should be a great race indeed. And there we are now. The timer has counted down to 0. And we should look at the grid in a very, very short amount of time. There we are. So Ruben starts on pole from Istvan Pukki, the front row start. Let's see, we have 5 lights. And it's lights out for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Great start there from Ruben. And also, Istvan getting a good start as well. Could look to pressure Ruben into turn 1. Let's see who's going to take the lead down into turn 1. Ruben up the inside. Istvan round the outside. We've also got 2 of the cars there. That's Chan fighting, but Istvan Pukki takes the lead out to turn 2. Istvan Pukki, great start there. Putting himself into that provisional top position. Will Lewis also having a fight with, I believe, that's Bent Sabakonya and also Dylan Warren. Looking for a move on Bent up the inside into turn 4. Can he try and make it work? He's going to be pushed onto the curb nearly by Bent, but I think he makes it through, and they're going to go side by side through this SE section now, in towards 6 and 7. Who's going to be the most risky? And I think it'll be Bentz, because Bentz keeps that 6th position for now, but we've also got Valentin looking for an inside manoeuvre there on Dylan Warren, but just couldn't make it work. And Yannick Schmidt fighting with Jan Halliday now at the exit of turn 8. We're going 3 wide down here. This is Timo Zelenkiewicz and a few others, all fighting for that 12th position. Yannick Schmidt gets through on Yannick, gets through on Jan down at turn 10. They're going to go side by side on the exit, but still, Istvan Pukki leads the race by 5/10 over Ruben. Great start for him down at turn 1. And there we head down in towards turn 11. And Jan stayed through on Yannick still. And Ishmael, though, still on the back of Chan, looking to improve there and try and get through into that top 3 spot. We've also got Liam Stevens fighting Ika Bayana. Ika has joined the lobby, and he'll be in the AlphaTauri. But obviously didn't set a qualifying time, so we did, I believe, start last. Liam being overtaken by 6, and they're very close there, nearly touching on the exit at turn 13 as they head down in towards turn 15. But looking back at the top, we've got Ishmael right on the back of Chan. We've also got Theon overtaking Ika Bueno. That's a battle for 14th position down, I believe, at the exit of turn 14. And let's see, can Ishmael overtake? Can he get enough speed? He's going to be looking to close in on Chan. Does he go up the inside? Yes, he does. Can he break it late enough to get through? It's going to be side by side. We've got Chan with the inside line, Ishmael with the outside line through turns 2 and 3. Now we've got Ishmael with the inside line out of turn 3 now. They're going to go still side by side down into turn 4. Which one's going to keep ahead? Into turn 4, and Ishmael backs out and lets Chan stay ahead. So still that battle not going to be over yet, but we know that these two are going to be fighting heavy for that third position. Looking further down, we've got Noel Carmen still a second back. So I believe he's not in the session still. I'm not sure. And looking further up, we've got Vincent on the back of Tima Zelenkiewicz. They're going down now in towards turn 8, and Vincent sending an inside manoeuvre on Tima. Can he get it to work? I think he might. They're going to go side by side, though, on the exit of turn 8 in towards 9 and 10. And let's see which one stays ahead. I think it will be Tima. Yes, it will, because Vincent backs off and lets him through. Ika Bueno up to 14th place already after starting down in 19th. Moraviak has had a spin or an incident down at turn 9 and 10. That's where I believe we saw him make a mistake on his Q1 flying lap. But Ika now looking to try and get through on Vincent Nyqvist. Obviously didn't qualify at all. I don't think he was even meant to be racing at the start until he's just popped up here and joined the lobby and got into a car, taking the Alpha Tauri. And he's now going to have to try and get through on Vincent. You can see a lot more pace from Ika there. And let's see, down in towards 14, a lot more speed. Going to take the inside line. He's on the medium tyres as well. That's another thing to call. And there we are. Everyone else on the hards apart from Ika Bueno and Noel Carmen. And look at the top, Isfan has nearly stretched a 1 second gap already. But Noel fighting. No, Noel's not in the session. Frennick's going to pit. Not sure why. Gets a 5 second. He's out the session, so that's Frennick's race over. So it brings us now down just to 18. But now it's the charge for Isfan. He needs to get himself to a second gap to Ruben. What looks like it was going to be amazing for Ruben to get through and take that first. At the moment, he's nearly a second back off of his rival who got P2. And we've also got Chanakinchi still trying to close down on Ruben. And looking further down, we've got Dylan Warren on the back of Bentz having a good start as well, moving up a position over, I believe, Valentin Brufat on lap 1. And the gap relatively close between all the drivers. Yannick Schmidt also looking to try and get through on Jan Halliday. This is down at turn 8, not close enough. Takes the purple first sector though. So Yannick on a nice bit of pace as they come through now in towards turns 9 and 10. Dylan Warren still gaining on the back of Bentz now as they come out of turn 9 and 10. But you can see on the exit, just not gaining enough to get a move. And he's not gaining enough either, down in towards turn 11, which he would like to be. There we are, Ika Bueno getting through on Tima Zelenkiewicz. That's for 12th place. So Ika having a great start. Obviously on the mediums will be a lot quicker. And I think he's going to try and keep, I think he will keep this 12th. And yes, he does, but he took a bit of a weird line throwing towards turn 11, hence why Tima started to gain a little bit on him as they came through. And now Jan on the back of Valentin looking to try and take that 7th place. Also the same for Dylan Warren for 6th as they now come out of the final corner to begin lap 4. Isfan Puki takes the fastest lap of 31.396. He's going to head down in towards turn 1 yet again. Bentz looking to gain on the back of Wilt, looking for a bit of a dummy move, but backs off for now, so doesn't want to send it just yet. And the gap between Ruben and Isfan has nearly broke a second already. Let's just keep on board with these two to see if this gap does break a second, because Ruben's just about got that DRS as they head now down in towards turn 4. And it's going to be close between the cut-off here, but Ruben just doesn't seem to have as much pace to give compared to Isfan. It could be that, or it could just be that Ruben wants to let off a bit and not use all of his tyre wear. Let's have a look at the telemetry, and we can look at the battery usage. So 70 to 78 to 62 to 76. So these top guys using around similar amounts of ERS. So no one's really got much of an ERS advantage. Dylan Warren gaining on the back of Bentz still. This is for 6th place, looking to try and get through. A little bit quicker than Bentz, I think, Dylan is. He's about 3 tenths behind, but just can't get through. Bentz dropping to about 7 tenths off the back of Will Lewis as they come through into turn 11. And the gap between Ruben and Isfan broke down to 7 tenths. Now that's due to the DRS advantage down in towards turn 11. Gives you a bit of an advantage, and it's obviously worked for Ruben heavily as the gap's now below a second, and it can also help Ruben to get more DRS and just try and catch on the back of Isfan and not give Isfan such a big advantage as they now come down in towards turn 14 and 15 on board with Dylan Warren still. Looking to try and get through on Bentz Sabakonye, but just can't. You can see he gets very close, but just not close enough to make a move, and he wouldn't be silly enough to send any stupid dive bombs, so I think he'll be sticking in this 7th for now. And normally, this is the point where, unfortunately, the battling kind of dies off and everyone sticks in the position they're in. and we wait till the pit stops, which are around lap 15, 16, where we see people onto new mediums. We'll also see some people, if they want to extend, go to around lap 20, 21, pit onto some soft if they're that daring enough to. But looking down at the bottom, we've got Ika Boyana on the back of Andres Lopez for 11th place. So Ika obviously on the medium tyres, having a great start on those. And Noel, by the way, isn't racing. He's got the Ghosty car because he left the session at the end of Q1. Something to do with his setup. So yeah, don't worry, he hasn't spun or anything, he's just not racing. Looking further down as well, we've got Liam Stevens fighting 6th and Lindhart, that's for 16th, but I just want to keep on board with Eakin for now. This is the only real battle going on. This is for 11th position over the back of Andres Lopez. You can see obviously the medium tyres are a lot quicker. This is why Eakin's just so much quicker than the other guys, as then they head out of turn 10 down towards 11. You know, the gap just to 0.3 of a second as they come through. Into turn 12, Ika taking different lines to what Andres is taking. There they are through. Turn 13. The DRS will be open on the start of the next lap. Obviously the detection zone's down in towards the braking zone at 14. You can see Ika just crossed it. He's got DRS in the back of Andres, but the DRS with the new tyres doesn't always do the best job. Because obviously, you know, tyre wear doesn't really talk about your speed in a straight line generally. You can see that's why Ika doesn't gain that much going down this straight in towards turn 1, but the gap's about 2.7 tenths braking zone. Obviously, Ika with the better tyres can brake a little bit later. Liam overtaking 6th and down for 17th and 16th. They're going to go side by side. Oh, bit of contact between the two there. Liam just being touched a little bit by the back of Sixton as they now come through. Down in towards turn 4. That's also Ika Berner getting through on Andres Lopez for 11th. Still side by side for Liam and Sixton. One of them off the track. The other one stays on the track. Be like what we saw with Thomas Ronhar and Nico Longate a few weeks ago in PSGL. Oh, and that was an odd move there from the two of them. Obviously not judging where each other were, and unfortunately making a bit of contact down at turn 6 and 7. And Andres still on the back of Ika as they come out of turn 9 and 10. The gap now between Ika and Yannick, about a second. So obviously Yannick now going to be under pressure from Ika very shortly. Ika looking to put himself into that top 10. But because of the DRS for the top guys, Ika's going to have to try and catch back into that zone, which he does barely at the end of that turn 11. Because obviously the gap was just over a second. But obviously under braking, he's gained it back. And he's now looking to push after the back of Yannick Schmidt. The gap down to 8 tenths, 7 tenths already. So great charge from Ika Boyana, looking to put himself into that top 10 position. Will Lewis about 4 tenths behind Ishmael, so they're very close for comfort at the moment. Just not going to be making moves, sticking behind each other, just playing it safer now. There'd be no point making these moves this early in the race. And Dylan Warren takes the fastest lap temporarily because Ika Boyana takes it off him immediately with a 31.369. He's going to head back then into turn 1 with Ika, 9 tenths between him and Yannick, so not gaining too much time in the corner, on the straights, but in the corners he does gain a lot. And now Valentin has lost 1 second to Dylan Warren. So this is key for Jan Halliday now to try and get himself into the top 10. I mean, into the top 8. Through on Valentin would be ideal. Obviously, Jan didn't have the best qualifying, only started 9th position with a 0.2. I believe he normally does 0.0s and 0.9s in qualifying practice. So definitely not making the most of it at all in that session. But the issue we got now with Valentin, if you can't catch back up to Dylan, we've effectively got 2 big trains. First to 7th, and then we've got 8th down to 16th. So it kind of creates 2. When 2 trains are created, then you've got to think, right, do we pit early or later? Because you might lose. For people like Ika and that who are in this train, they might want to pit a lap earlier than the others. In terms of the fact, well, ignoring the fact it's on mediums, you'd pit a lap earlier than the others anyway because he might be stuck in this train. They're not going to gain time. But if you can get yourself out of this train, get yourself a bit of free air, then he can start to push. And that's the issue some of the drivers will have when they're stuck in this train. They're not able to maximise their speed, and then just going to start losing time on the train ahead. And Valentin Bruffa there gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So he's pushing really hard now to try and get through on Dylan to try and catch back up. And now Jan's got the DRS, and as Lopez goes quickest with a 31.148. It's been a head down into turn 1. Jan just about 3 tenths back as they come into the braking zone. Will now be looking to try and take him either through into turn 4 or possibly down into turn 1 on the next lap, or he could just be trying to stay behind and keep the DRS. But at the moment, Valentin's losing lots of time to Dylan. It's nearly 2 seconds already, the gap, 1.6 seconds. As they head out of turn Head out of turn 6, and there we are. Ikabuena with a 3-second tyre penalty. Not what he would have wanted, because now that means a top 10 finish could be a bit scarce and not possible at the moment. And Yannick Schmidt also getting on the back of Jan Halliday. Jan making a mistake there through turn 6 and 7, losing a little bit of time to the back of Valentin Bruffa. And also, sorry if the lags arrive, because I'm getting some notifications on my stream to say there's a bit of lag at the bottom. So sorry if there is. There's nothing I can do about that. So we head now down into towards turn 11 with Jan and Valentin yet again. This could be a battle for 8th. Well, this is a battle for 8th, but the question is, can Jan get through, or does he want to stick behind? Because I don't know why he want to stick behind. Surely he'd want to get through, because it just seems Valentin's a lot slower than Jan. But obviously Jan knows best. I'm not a race app, so I'm not really qualified to say who should be quickest and who. I shouldn't really be qualified to say who should go through and who when. But Dylan Moore also now gained on the back of Ben Sabakonyi. Really, really close there for Dylan. He wants to get through. He's been trying to get through all race, all these past 5 laps, but just his last 9 laps, but can't. And I don't think he can this time either. But Jan now gaining on the back of Valentin. Is he close enough into the braking zone? Let's see. He gets through, and there we are. Valentin now drops down to 9th with his penalty. Not what he would have wanted. Jan now got to try and close back up on Dylan, who's about 7 tenths, 8 tenths now out of that DRS zone. So if Jan's got the pace, he's got to use all of it now to catch back up. Otherwise, instead of Jan being able to fight for the top 5, top 6, he's going to be fighting for top 8 and below. And when he's going to be at the front of this train, this does put him in a bit of a disadvantage, because he's going to, if he's at the front of the train, he's going to be slow. He's got no DRS. Everyone else behind has. So then on the straights, he can be eaten up by the person behind completely. John's DRS is 87%, if I read it correctly. And Jan, 1.7 seconds between him and Dylan Warren as they head now down in towards turn 11. So the gap's come down by a 10th, but it needs to come down a lot more than that if he wants to get back into this DRS train, of course. We've also got Yannick also pressuring the back of Valentin Bruffa for 9th. Valentin seemed to drop down the field a little bit more than he would have liked. And now we head out of turn 13, down in towards the braking zone for 14. The gap between the top guys really, really close, all within 3 or 4 cents of each other. And Istvan's still leading the race, obviously getting the jump on Ruben down at turn 1, took the inside line and got it to work really well and put himself into that top spot. Obviously Ruben was leading qualifying by a mile over everyone every single session. So the fact he's in second, for me, is a bit surprising, but it's all part of the strategy. Sixon Linhart gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits. He retires from the session. So now we're down just to 17, well, 16 drivers, because Knowles and AI, hence why he's 13 seconds back. But now the gap between Dylan and Jan is nearly 2 seconds. It is 2 seconds. So then we've effectively got 2 races, haven't we? We've got the race for 8th and below. And we've got the race from 1st down to 7th. So we head through, and there we are. Lindart has left the session. His car will come back onto track, but it'll just pull over and retire on the side. So don't need to worry about safety cars or anything. And Ishmael also now looking to gain on Chan. We'll have a look at this battle. This is for 3rd. There we are, 63 for Chan, 90 for Ishmael. So Ishmael using hardly any ERS so far, and gaining a lot on the back of Chan Akinci as they come out of turn 13. Harlan Marquis, thanks for the follow, welcome in. He's going to head down in towards 13. Can Ishmael try and get through, because he looks like he's gaining a hell of a lot. He's got a lot more ERS at play, so he can use that to his advantage. Now out of turn 14 and 15. Does Ishmael choose to use his ERS as they head down the straight? No, he doesn't. So he's desperate to get through, but not desperate enough to use all his ERS. And looking further down, Will Lewis also just keeping in with this train. Hasn't really done much so far. He's just kind of been chilling, hasn't he, in that 5th position. Just staying in the train, pulling himself along, also pulling Benson Dillon behind as well. But Jan now still losing more time to the back of the DRS train, and that's going to be normal now. Once you're out of the 2 seconds gap, getting back into that DRS train is really, really hard to do. Because down to turn 1, you get someone. Oh, hang on, we've had someone rain. That's Jan Halliday spun down at turn 4. So he either spun by himself or he had an incident with Valentin. That's also allowed Valentin and Ika are inside each other down into turn 9, down into turn 8. So possibly that could have been an incident between Valentin and Jan then, as they come through. Now down in towards turn 9 and 10, they're still inside each other. They're still ghosting. Come on, unghost. because they're just going to stay inside each other the whole lap. There we are. They finally break free from each other, and Valentine keeps the position over Ika in ninth. So not sure what happened to Jan there, but he's still... Oh, and that's brief around. He got hit by Ika Baena down at turn 11 there, and there this brings a 3 wide train through into turn 12. This is absolute mania. Through into turn 13 now. Don't know what I even said then. And we've got people going off the track everywhere. This is diabolical so far. Coming through turn 13. People being jolted over the track. Being pushed off. I mean, they're going to turn 15 and 14. 3 wide and we're having people still touch. What's going on with this here? It's ridiculous. Everyone just punting each other off at this rate. Now heading down in towards turn 1. And the gap's now 4 seconds between Dylan and Yannick. 2 seconds then between Fionn and Vincent, and Ikaburn has crashed. No, he's not. He's retired in the pit lane, so he's out of the session. We've also got still people fighting down for this position down at turn 2 and 3. That's Andrew's been pushed off the track there by Tima. We've also got Vincent fighting Fionn down in towards turn 4. But so far, the racecraft here has been pretty poor from some of the drivers. Jan just sitting in behind, waiting for carnage to unfold ahead. We've also got Valentine Brufer in the pits as well. He's going to be coming back out. And there we are, that's Tima through on Andres, also looking to get through his Jan on the back of Andres. This is now for 12th place. Obviously, Jan was looking for the top 10, goes up the inside. Oh, bit of turning early though from Andres, bit of contact. But Jan, I think, does still make it work. Yes, he does not there make contact, and Jan round again after a bit of contact there with Andres. And I'm not sure what's happened, but all of a sudden the racecraft has gone out the window for these drivers in this bottom 10. And still, the top 5, top 6, top 7, all the same. They kept the same the whole, these whole past few laps. But everyone below has just been involved in incident after incident. And now, Jan's still round. He's spun at the exit of turn 10. So it's completely failed for Jan so far. Who and what was pole? Pole was a .922 from Ruben. He set it on his first lap in Q3. At the start of the session, didn't even bother setting another one. But yeah, he's dropped down to P2 because his fan got through on him at turn 1. Pedreiro. Yes, Ruben Pedreiro took pole. Then into turn 1. Dylan Warren on the back of Bent still. 5-second penalty for Andres Lopez speeding in the pit lane. He's out of the session. So now people still retiring after retirement. Valentine Brufer still staying out though. He's on his new set of mediums. They will most likely make it to the end, but with a bit of struggle because of tyre wear. And Vincent now also getting on Fionn McKay. Fionn into the top 9 now. Having a bit of a great recovery there for him. Also for Vincent as well. He started down in, I think, 12th position. He's now up into the top 10. Going to be fighting Fionn. This is for 9th place. Looking further up the grid. Yannick's got a 3-second tyre penalty. Not what he would have wanted. Obviously, Fionn has got the 2-second gap now to Yannick Schmidt. Yannick's got 5-second gap to Dylan Warren. So this top 7, I think, is going to pretty much stay the same. But below that, it can all change heavily going throughout the course of the race. We're on lap 13. So in the next 5 laps, everyone should have pitted. But obviously, we'll have to see what happens because overcuts, undercuts come into play. The top 7 could change dramatically, but I think the top 7 will still be the same top 7, but just in different orders. And there we are. Raid, thank you, Samuo Leah, for the raid. Really, really appreciated. Welcoming to the race here for the Et8 Challengers Cup. If you're new here, obviously we've had the Challengers Cup. This is for, well, generally for practice for challengers, but we've had many other drivers as well making an appearance, as you can see throughout the grid. And that's Ismail Fassi getting through, and Chanakinchi, that was down at turn 14. So either Ishmael just sent it there, or Chad made a mistake, one of the two, down at that corner. And then this is really good for Ishmael to get himself back into that fight for the win. Optimus Prime, Chanakinchi. I'm still going to keep calling him that. I can't get that in my head. I look at it and I can't get it. No. And Will Lewis also now fighting after Chanakinchi down at turn 4. He's obviously still sitting in the top 5. Him, Benson, Dylan have just kind of chilled. They haven't been involved in anything at all. And yeah, that's kind of what they've been up to. Just sitting down there. Jan gets a 5-second penalty for speeding. He retires. So more and more retirements happen. So we've had 5 people retire. Frednik after the first couple of laps, 6 and a few laps later. And then Ika, Andres and Jan all within these past 2 laps. And now we've got Will Lewis gaining on the back of Chanakinchi down at turn 11. 3 tenths between the two, but obviously they're not going to make moves because realistically it's... Oh, and Chan's got a 3-second tyre penalty. Didn't see that one at all. That one came out of nowhere. So now Chan's at a bit of a disadvantage. He's technically in at P7 because he'll drop down to where Dylan is in P7. The gap between Yannick and Dylan's growing more. That's 5.3 now, with Theon barely keeping to the DRS range of Yannick, about 9/10. He's come through. Bit of a track extension there for Will Lewis. Just cut the track a little bit on the exit of turn 15. Very easy place to cut the track. Very easy place to get penalties. Yeah, head down, and we can see Ruben gaining on Istvan. Obviously not making a move, but he is gaining now a lot. He was about 7/10 back. Now he seemed to push a bit more. But he's got literally full ERS. 59% for Istvan, 97 for Ruben, 63 for Ishmael, 59 for Chan, 90 for Will, 40 for Bence, and then 89 for Dylan. You can see some of these, at least 4 of them there, on over 90%, they've got such an advantage to the others. Obviously, Istvan's the one at the most disadvantage, because you see there, Ruben is using no ERS whatsoever, and Istvan's got half of what Ruben has. So Ruben can, if he wants to push to take first before the pit stops, he can just drain his battery down the straight and still keep within 60-70%. He's going to head down into 11 yet again for lap 15. Pit stops will be happening shortly. You can see there Noel Carman's car pitting onto some hard, but that is obviously an AI, because Noel hasn't started the race due to an issue in qualifying. We're going to head down in towards 14 and 15. The gap between Ishmael and Ruben's coming down as well, however. So Ishmael on a bit of a charge now, trying to push through and get on the back of Ruben. And get through. The gap between Ruben and Ishmael is 2/10. The gap between Ruben and Istvan is 7/10. But now we can see Ishmael's pushing. He's going to gain a lot now. He's got a lot more top speed this season, Ruben. He's gaining a lot down that DRS straight. We've also got a lot more people pitting. We've got Theon, Yannick, Dylan Warren all pitting now onto medium tyre. So Dylan getting himself out of that train. Probably good to get a bit of free air and try and push a little bit more. Because sticking in that train is just going to lose you more time. If you can pit a lap earlier than the others, that could come to your favour later on. And still we got Ishmael trying to chase down Ruben. Ruben also trying to chase down Istvan. But none of them keen enough really to make an overtake, apart from Ishmael's overtake on Chan. That was down at the final corner a couple of laps to go. You can see now the gap between Bence and Vincent, 6.8 seconds. So even with the penalty, this is going to help Chan at least get a top 7 because of the gap between Bence and Vincent. The gap's only 7 seconds now. Timo Zelenkiewicz barely within the 1 second of Bence, so he's gonna, of Vincent, sorry. So he's gonna have to try and catch back up, but he's losing a little bit of time, losing a couple tenths there within a few corners. Ruben, you can see, gaining a lot now on the back of Istvan. Could be time to see some moves before the pit stops, or we could just see them both dive into the pits. We'll have to see. Now we're coming through in towards turn 14 and 15. The pit stops will be happening now. We're about halfway of the race. Lap 16 of 29. There we are. Chanakinchi pits first out of the top 4. That brings Will Lewis down into 4th and Ben Sabakoni up to 5th. And let's see. We'll go on board with Dylan Warren and see where he comes out compared to Chanakinchi. We've also got Vincent and Tima as well pitting. But either this has worked heavily for Dylan or it has not worked at all. You can see there now Chan has entered his pit box. You can see he stops, gets back moving again, so he's exited the pit lane. Well, exiting the pit lane now as he heads then towards turn 1. Has this worked for Dylan Warren? I think it might have just about worked. He's going to be within a second of Chan, though. He's going to be very close. Chan's going to warm up his tyres very quickly, though, so this is a chance for Dylan to try and either gain and get through, or at least just stick within this 1 second. You can see the gap 6 tenths. You can see Chan there just warming up his medium tyres. Dylan going to be trying to look and get away through. You can see, obviously, Chan's tyres are nowhere near yet. They need to warm up heavily. And there we are, Theon fighting with Vincent Nyquist. That's down at 9th position, obviously on the new mediums as well. And Dylan go for the inside move in towards turn 8. Gets a 6th position off Chan. Chan has to go for a bit of a switchback, though. They're going to go side by side through in towards turn 9. Which one takes a position? I think it will still be Dylan, though. Into turn 9. Dylan keeps that 6th position. Great pit stop there. Great undercut from Dylan Warren. Working. Hemi would have wanted it too. Indeed. As they head down in towards turn 11. And up, Channy's not going to gain enough time at all to get through. So he has to suffer for that 7th position just for now. And now we'll also see the others pit, do we? No, they all stay out. The top 5 do. They all decide to stay out. And we'll probably see overtakes. Let's see. Does Ruben go for a move on Istvan? He's going to stick behind 2 tenths. And no, he sticks behind. So surely we'll see some moves happening very shortly, because pit stops are going to be happening, because they're all going out a little bit later than what Dylan and Chan have. So it's either really works out for Dylan, or it's going to really not work out. You can see that Dylan goes quickest at 30.54453. Ruben looking to try and gain on Isfan now as they come through in towards turn 8. 3 tenths between the two. Getting closer. Dylan going to have to try and defend from Chan, which Chan's about 4 tenths back. We'll be looking to try and push him through down at turn 4 as well, because they've got DRS for Chan. No DRS for Dylan at C. Do they gain enough to make a move? No, they don't. So Chan just sits behind in provisional stance for now. Technically, it's a provisional P2 because the others ahead have got to pit, but they will most likely, I think, come out ahead. They should do indeed anyway. Ruben's not going to push too hard, because if he does, then all it's going to do is bring the time from Dylan to him down and down and down, because fighting's going to lose your time. So maybe it's clever from Ruben just not to fight. Concede that track position just for now, instead of fighting after the pit stop. Let's see, does any of these guys decide to pit? So Isfan does, Ruben stays out. Ishmael decides to not pit. Will Lewis decides not to pit, nor does Bence. So it seems everyone's just pitting in a lap after each other. Let's see, does this work for Isfan, or is he going to come out behind Dylan? Go on board with Dylan, yes, again, because Dylan's now the one who's going to really try and benefit off this if he can make it work. And Isfan now coming out the pit lane. And let's see, Dylan follow by Chanakinchi down towards turn 1. I think this might work out. And Chana goes quickest to 30.1. Yannick Schmidt gets a penalty. And this has worked heavily for Isfan, because Lucky's come out ahead a lot further than the others. But he's going to have an optimised line into turn 1 because of his turning. He's also going to be optimised as well because of his cold tyres. So this could really help Dylan just to get back into the 1 second, which he does. So Dylan ahead of Chan, but behind Isfan. So now the question is, does he get through and will Benson Fassi? Because this could be a really great possible top 3 for Dylan if he can make it work. Dylan within 3 tenths of Isfan now. So the question is, does Dylan sit back behind Isfan, or does he try and push through, knowing possibly I could try and take the lead, because Isfan was provisional P1. And then the fact Dylan's about 2 tenths behind, he's going to try and gain in towards turn 11. Can he try and get through? He's going to not go through, but it was close. It was about, 700s between the two there, going into that braking zone. Oh, and that's a bit wide there for, I think, Chan there going a little bit wide. And then Ruben decides to pit now. Where does Dylan Isfan come out compared to Ruben and Bence? So still Will Lewis and Ishmael Fassi staying out. Obviously, Bence and Ruben deciding to pit now. Obviously, with DRS for Warren, no DRS for Pookie, DRS for Chan. This could help them just pull each other along. Down here. Oh, sorry there, just a bit of a pause. And let's see, do they come out ahead of Bence? Yes, they do, but do they come out ahead of Ruben? No, they don't, but it's going to be close. Isfan on the back of Ruben Pedreño. We've got Yannick Schmidt out of the session in the pit lane, but that doesn't matter for now because the main focus is on this battle for the lead. Ruben Pedreño, technically the provisional leader, and Isfan going to go around the outside. Also, Dylan Warren looking to get a move on the back of Ruben Pedreño, right into turn 4. Oh, and that's contact. That's Ruben Pedreño round. He's spun. He's had a bit of contact with Isfan Pookie there. Oh, he's retired. He's binned it. Is he been on track, or is he just... No, he's just... So he hasn't binned it, he's just retired on circuit. And he's left the session. Let's hope that doesn't cause desync issues. But that's Ruben out of the race. And we've also got a safety car because he's binned it, I think. Well, we've got a VSC at least on the side of the track. So now this gives a bit of an opportunity possibly for Will Lewis and Ishmael Fassi. And Yannick Switch also left the session, so we're now just down to 12 runners. Noel Carmen being an AI, so we'll basically put down just to 11. As we now come through, Ishmael pits. Will Lewis... Oh, Will's really not thinking of pitting, is he? He wants to say it really late. And he goes on... Oh, so Ishmael going on to softs. So they're going for a bit of a Barry Burman type tactic there. So now this is going to work really, really well, or it's not going to work at all. One of the two. But Isfan technically leading over Dylan Warren and over Chanakinchi. Ruben, great in qualifying, but cursed in because I said he'd win the race. And he's retired at 13th. And there we are. Where does Ishmael come out? He's going to come out actually behind. And does he come out behind Dylan Warren? they're going to go side by side through turn 1 into turn 2. And I think Dylan gets through because his tyres are better. There we are. And we're also going to get Chanakinchi. Going to go for a move on the back of Ishmael and get through. But he can't. So he gets stuck behind for now. Not what Chan would have wanted. So Dylan Warren now into provisional P2. Will Lewis still staying out. So he's going very long on his tyres. Going to be taking softs, obviously. I'm going to be looking to try and... He'll probably come out behind Chan, I think. The gap between Chan and Ishmael, though, 2/10. So now, if Chan wants to take that... Well, obviously Chan's not going to get the podium, but if he wants to get the podium on track, he's going to get through an Ishmael. Because once Ishmael comes up to pace, it's going to be very difficult for Chan to try and catch up to the back, because the gap's already increasing now, 3-4 tenths nearly. So you can see these soft tyres coming into working into errands now for Ishmael Fassi. As he comes through now in towards turn 11. Will Lewis still leads but hasn't pitted. So Isam Pookie technically the net leader of the race, followed by Dylan Warren and Ishmael Fassi. Ruben Progenio, our pole sitter and driver in second place, had an incident with Isam Pookie in after session. And now we have Will Lewis pitting. So we're going board with Ishmael because I want to see where he comes out compared to him. So I think this will be the main battle between Will and Ishmael. And he obviously goes on softs, of course. Let's see. Will's going to come out a bit behind them all, I think. Yeah, this doesn't work out for Will at all, but we're going to overtake. This is for Ishmael Fassi and Dylan Warren for P2. Down at turn 1, and because of their battling, it's allowed Will to close up, and he's now sitting in 5th just behind Chanakinchi, but also Spencer Sabakonya getting through, but still side by side. We've got Dylan Warren and Ishmael Fassi. This is for second position. Because of the soft tyres, this will really help on the exit for Ishmael Fassi, and it does work, and Dylan's going to try to stick it, but he just can't. So now that's Ishmael Fassi into net second. Could be looking for a race win for Ishmael if he can just make it work and get through an Isvan Pookie, but he won't make it work just yet. He'll want to sit behind for now, get the DRS, and then go for a move when he can catch Isvan off guard. But so far, Dylan's now gone from 8th, I think he started, up to 3rd. Great recovery from Dylan Warren, and then obviously Chanakinchi got the penalty. He'll be finishing around 6th position behind Will Lewis and Ben Sabakonya. Ben's looking to try and get through on Will, but not going to do so just yet as Will's tyres are a lot better. As he comes through now, Ishmael 3 tenths behind Isvan, and actually because Ishmael's that much quicker, he might try and make a move early. Cancel nice, said he might go for a move soon. They now come down in towards the final few corners. There we are, Fassi now looking to close on Isvan Pookie. Down for first position, up the inside in towards turn 1. And there we are, Ishmael with the inside, Pookie round the outside, can't make it work. So now Ishmael Fassi takes the lead of the race. Great strategy from Ishmael so far to put himself into first. And now we've still got Isvan in second, followed by Dylan Warren. But if Ruben was here, it could have ended so more differently. Because Ruben could still be leading, Ruben could be down in 5th, we don't know. But unfortunately, we don't get to see that happen as he DNF'd a few laps ago. But still following through, obviously now we've got the top 12, top 11. Because Noel's got a DNF, an AO car from lap 1. But obviously the consistency has worked for Vincent and Fionn getting themselves into the points, along with also Team Zelenkiewicz, but Valentin Brufat, big shame, he could have been involved in this big battle for first, but unfortunately had some issues and he couldn't get involved at all. And there we are, Team Zelenkiewicz gets a 3-second time penalty, so that kind of now cancels out him having a bit more of a a bit of a wager on the back of Valentin, because now they've both got 3 seconds, they're both going to drop down together. And Fionn still battling there the back of Vincent, but I want to watch Will Lewis as he's going in on Chanakinchi for 4th. Obviously, Chan's got his penalty, so we'll take 4th anyway, but it's always nice to get that 4th position on track. As they now charge down in towards turn 14 and 15. Will looking to gain, doesn't get enough, but you can see how much you can brake later in the braking zone. Got a bit more power on the exit at turn 15. Going to chuck down the throttle. There we are. Ishmael goes fastest, and there we are. Will just flies past Chan, really. Nothing Chan can do to fight that. He wouldn't be stupid to fight it because he just knows he wouldn't get through in terms of traction. There we are now. Will Lewis up into 4th. Now his next rival is Dylan Warren. Zelenkiewicz with a 5-second penalty retires in the session. In the pit lane, sorry. So he goes from sitting in the points to decided, actually, no, I don't want any points. I want to retire. So it puts everyone who's finished the race that is an actual in the race in the top 10, because obviously Noel doesn't count in my eyes. There we are. Fionn fighting Vincent. This is for 7th position. This is down at turn 4. obviously, they've got older tyres compared to the others, 7 and 8 laps compared to the 4 and 5 laps, and obviously the 2 laps over for the softs. So they'll be battling for 7th. They're obviously not going to be catching up to Bence as they're 9 seconds back. We've had an incident. No, we're not. It's just team's car coming out onto track to pull over. Then I believe at the exit of turn 3. As we go through the gap, 5 tenths. Looking further up, Will Lewis looking to try again on Dylan Warren still for that 3rd position. And Noel Carman's car there just going through on teamer. So it's a shame to see 7 cars retire. Well, 8 cars retire. It's a big shame to see that happen. It would be nice to see all of them make it to the end, but unfortunately that doesn't happen. And the worst part about it all is all of them retired manually in the pit lane. No one's retired on track yet. No one's retired on track due to an incident. Oh, and that's Chan again with another penalty. 6 seconds worth now. Still doesn't need to worry about Vincent, but you know, it's not where he wants to be. Doesn't want to be having these 6-second penalties because obviously the racing in challenges on Thursday. If he's making these incidents there and making these mistakes, that doesn't help because you know you've got to think. At the moment in the race left, we've got 6 of the drivers, 7 of them that are going to be racing in challenges, and he's the only one. Well, him and Valentin are the only 2 that have got penalties. If that's the case in the real race, in the real challenges, that doesn't help at all, and that puts them at a big disadvantage. So obviously, yes, they won't be trying as hard, but they're still going to be trying hard enough to try and make it through and see what their pace is like for challengers. And obviously, Isfan still sitting on the back of Ishmael. 5 laps, 4 left to go in this race, and actually, there's a possibility Isfan could try and fight back, because if Ishmael's tyres being 4 laps old and you've got 4 laps left, could put Ishmael at a bit of a disadvantage when they get on to 7-8 laps old. So it might not be all over yet for Isfan Pookie and Dylan Warren, of course. We now head down to turn 1. Will Lewis gaining on Dylan Warren. Has he got enough pace to get through into turn 1? He's gaining, but I don't think 2 tenths is enough to make a dive bomb. No, it's not. He goes for a dummy. Dylan reacts, but doesn't need to react too much as Will just backs out. Now they're very close coming out of turn 2 and 3. And let's see, is it chance for Will Lewis to get through down at turn 4? I think it might be. And no, it's not, because he just doesn't have enough speed going down into that turn 4. But Will's got to fight a lot now to try and get through on Dylan Warren. But still, Ishmael Fassi leads the race 5 tenths over Isfan Pookie. And even though Ishmael's got better tyres, Isfan's holding pretty well, isn't he? He's holding on pretty well, 6 tenths between the 2. Ishmael doesn't want to push too much, because if he does, he's just going to burn his tyres a lot. So a bit of time management also involved there. He's going to fly down in towards turn 9. You can just see Will Lewis has got a lot more freedom with these tyres. He can push a lot more than what Dylan can, and the gap's actually closing down into turn 11. Do they go side by side? No, they don't. So Will just sits behind. You can just see he's got a lot more pace than Dylan as they come through now in towards turn 12 and 13. Could be possibility down to turn 1 for Will Lewis as they come through out of turn 13. The gap 6 tenths. Will goes wide though, goes a little bit too wide. This could allow Chanakinchi to try and make an opportunity of this, but he doesn't make an opportunity of it because he's just not close enough. Also, Ben Sabakonyi sitting in 6th. Well, he's not really got involved in much at all in this race. He's kind of just chilled, hasn't he? And he's still going to come home 6th position, maybe even higher. Actually, no, will be higher because of Chan's penalty, so it will be a P5. Also, Sabakonyi going for a move now. Talked about him being quiet, but he's going to go for a bit of contact between the 2 down into turn 1. That's also Chan going around the outside, and Will Lewis can't make it done. Going deep for both. He's going to allow Bence to get through on 1. Can he get through on 1? He's going to try. Gets pushed off a little bit there, but keeps it side by side with Chanakinchi. Also, it seems like Will's just lost lots of... Lewis? Will's just got no pace at all. He's got hardly any top speed. Fighting back with Chanakinchi now. This is for 4th. Obviously, Chan's got it, but he will lose it down to penalties as we go through now. Ben Sabakonyi looking to try and get through on Will, but I don't think he can. But the issue this is now made is Dylan Warren's got that wager. He's got that 1.2 second gap. Well, 1.3, and so that really helps him. He doesn't need to worry too much about Will Lewis as we go through now, down in towards turns 9 and 10, and the gap is 2 tenths between Ben Sabakonyi and Will Lewis. I don't know what happened to Will there, but he just had no top speed, did he? Going down to turn 1 and down to turn 4. So really not sure what happened there. We go through. The gap's 1.1 between him and Dylan. That's Chan and Dylan, I should say. Going through. 1.07. Let's see. Does Chan get himself back into that DRS shortly, or will he have to wait a bit more? Valentin Bruffer gets a 3-second time penalty yet again. Not what he would have wanted at all. As we go through, Istvan 3/10 back on Ishmael now, so could be time to see Istvan try and fight for the win yet again. We would have said a few laps ago that's not going to be that possible because Ishmael's times are better and he got through after 2 laps. But now Istvan's actually going to gain. Can he get Ishmael down to turn 1? Because Ishmael's not got the battery, he's not got the DRS. Istvan has. Then into turn 1, couldn't get close enough, but he will possibly go for it down to turn 4. We've also got more battles. That's Sabakonyi and Lewis fighting in towards turn 1 there. But still, Will Lewis keeps ahead of the Alpine driver. And they're not going to be able to make much of it down to turn 4 either, I don't think. Unless Sabakonyi can get a better run than Will. I don't think he can, though. And he's going to go for a dummy, but doesn't. He looks for it and backs off. But still, now looking at this, you can see Dylan Moran also getting very closely involved as well. And Chan just within that 9/10 gap. We've also got Vincent and Theon fighting. That's down at turn 1. And we go through. So now the battle is for first between, I could say, the top 3. I don't think Chan can be involved with this at all, but I think the top 3 definitely will. Because you can see now Ishmael's advantage is still there, but nowhere near as much as it was before. So yeah, head down with the DRS, down in towards turn 11. And Istvan, he's got what? This is a pulled an ultimate lap. He's got 1 lap left to make this work. So realistically, he wants to get Ishmael down into turn 1 next lap around. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for him to try and get through. So Ishmael will be pushing. So will Istvan and Dylan. So we can see a very, very close battle down into turn 1. We're going to ignore the battle going on with Theon and Vincent because I want to watch this top battle because this is the most intense one. This is the one for the win of the race. And obviously, it doesn't mean much in terms of challenges just yet. But if you can win in the Challengers practice event, it shows you've got something about you to try and win it in the actual event. Istvan Pookie gets a 3-second time penalty though on the exit at turn 15. And that's ruined it. That's the win gone. Now this is chance for Istvan to get through on Ishmael. Can he get through? He's going to try for it. Can Dylan Moore also try and get through? He goes through for Ishmael. And this is battle for the lead between Ishmael and Dylan. This is a battle for the lead. Because obviously Istvan took the lead, but he's got the penalty. And so is Chanakinchi behind. So now, Dylan versus Ishmael for first. Now it's going to go up the inside for Dylan. Can he try and make it work? He's got the different tyres to Ishmael. I think he's got through. Yes, he has. Dylan Warren looking to try and take the lead of the race, and he's done so. And no, we've got desync issues on the final lap of the race. Great. But still, watching Dylan, we can just watch Istvan down. Dylan now 5/10 ahead of Ismail Fassi. 7/10 ahead. Now we've also got Chanakinchi looking for a move on Ismail Fassi. Fassi's obviously made a mistake somewhere. Also nearly on the curb there for Chanakinchi. Going to try and fight it on the exit. Can't do so. Also, Will Lewis now going to be trying to look for a move. And Sabakonyi still looking for the back of Will Lewis, but can't make it work just yet. But switching back to Istvan Pookie as he comes through turn 11 and 12 now. Not sure whether these things happened, or it could be something to do with the host leaving, or it could have been something to do with Liam having an issue with the internet as well. But now, oh, we're going off track. They're going off track. There's big desync issues here now. Because Ishmael's, it seems he's either gone off track or he's left the session. And they're going full wide down in towards turn 14 and 15. Sabakonyi looking for a move on Will Lewis. They're going to go side by side, but looking back at the top of this, Van Pookie comes to the line. Will take the win on track, but it goes to Dylan Warren as Dylan Warren was the one who crossed the line without penalties, and he takes first. Ishmael Fassi goes up to third, followed by Will Lewis, and Ben Sabakonyi finishes fifth. Then we've got Chanakinchi down to sixth because of his 6-second penalty. Then Vincent Nyquist finishes in seventh, followed by Phil McKee. Then Valentin Bruffer will come home as well. Not the race he would have wanted either at all. But Dylan Warren, a great recovery there, won by 1.8 seconds to penalties, and it was 17,000 between Pookie and Ishmael at the line. But Pookie's penalty didn't get served. Oh, that's an odd one. Because Pookie should have dropped back behind Bentz. Well, there we are. So yeah, there must have been some heavy issues because my end it looked fine. But I don't know what happened at all. I hope it wasn't an issue my end. And there we are, Dylan Warren. Well-deserved win of the race. Great performance here today. There we are, we go through. And we'll wait for the podium to come up so we can look at the scoreboard, the results for the final time. There we are. So Dylan Warren wins over Istvan, but technically Istvan should drop down to fifth. So technically Fassi's second, followed by Will Lewis, because obviously Istvan's got his penalty, but it didn't serve. But Dylan Warren, great race there. Started down in eighth. he's kind of capitalised off all the incidents that happened ahead, and he brought it back to a win. Great race there. We look further down. Istvan Pookie, should be Fissobio, Ishmael Fassi, Will Lewis, Ben Savaconi, Optimus Prime, that Chanakinchi. Keeps saying his name wrong again, yet again. Vincent Nyqvist obviously also avoided all the contacts. He finishes in 7th, followed by Phil McKee. Liam Stevens, Valentine Bruford drops into 10th. Then we have Noel Carman's lap AI car that finishes 11th. And unfortunately, we had Tim Zelenkiewicz, Ruben Pedrenio, Yannick Schmidt, Jan Harday, Andres Lopez, Ika Buena, Sixten Lionheart, and Ferdinand Moraviak all DNF in the pit lane, and obviously Ruben DNF'd on track. But still, great race, lots of action. Obviously, going through to challenges for the first race, it seems that lots of practice has been in order, and obviously Dylan Warren benefiting the most of them all. Just didn't get it quite hooked up in qualifying, but in the race, the pace was definitely there. But thank you yet again, everyone, for joining us here for the first round of the Et8 Cup. We're back next week for Australia. That'll be the second race of this cup. Obviously, we've got 6 rounds to go. The grid might be slightly different again. And, now we're going to have a raid. Where are we going to raid to, Alex? Let me know in Discord where we're going to raid. Just so I can let everyone know in the chat here. Also, I want to pop in there as well and say hello to the raid. So we're just trying to figure out who we raid to. Dylan. We're going to raid to Dylan Warren. So obviously everyone goes hello to Dylan. Appreciate him for the win. Give him a congratulations. And we'll switch over to him very shortly. But thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time.